Hi, this is Daniel Robbins with Psalm 51. To the chief musician, a psalm of David when Nathan the prophet came unto him after he had gone into Bathsheba. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Hide thy face from my sins, and blot out all mine iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. Then will I teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O God, thou God of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness. O Lord, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart, O God, thou wilt not despise. Do good in thy good pleasure unto Zion. Build thou the walls of Jerusalem. Then shalt thou be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with burnt offering and with whole burnt offering. Then shall they offer bullocks upon thine altar. So I was reading this and thinking, James talks about how, I call it LSD, lust, sin, and then death. So lust gives birth to sin. Our heart gives birth to lust, and lust gives birth to sin, and sin gives birth to death. And we saw that in the life of King David, who was on the wall of his palace. He saw Bathsheba bathing, inquired about her, sent for her. She came and lay with him, and then she told him that she was pregnant. So then David sent for her husband, said, go home to your wife. And he wouldn't do it. And he said, why don't you go home to your wife? He says, my brothers are camped out in the open field, and I'm not going home to my wife. So David even got him drunk, but he still wouldn't go home to his wife. So David just put a decree in his hand, sealed it, sent it to Joab by Uriah's own hand, telling him to put him on the front lines and then retreat from him so that he would die. And what's the guy's name? I can't remember him, but oh man, thanks to Dane Wigington, I know about him, but that's a chilling story. Did you know that guy was an atheist who read the Quran and the Book of Mormon? I'm just going, oh man. I mean, I thought I was a free thinker. Okay, I'm not an atheist, and I do have a Book of Mormon here, but that's because when the Mormon missionaries were here, they obviously snuck a copy under the couch, which was very sneaky. I still remember looking under the couch and seeing a Book of Mormon, and they snuck it under there. So, I mean, now, Joseph Smith says he wants people to believe that Jesus is God. So you think Mormons don't think Jesus is God? You should read the introductory to the Book of Mormon. It's not really my cup of tea. It doesn't float my boat. It's the Bible I read, including the Apocrypha, which I need to finish reading again. But still, the way that guy got hung out to dry is just awful. I'll see if I can refresh my memory on his name and then state it in a future post, God willing. But oh, he was a star football player. He joined the army just out of he wanted to serve his country, and It's just so wrong what happened to him. It just goes to show, can anything good come out of an atheist? Obviously it did. And it's agonizing. I'm not saying it's good to be an atheist. But I am saying he will be judged according to his works. And he'll realize God exists, but he'll also know that not one good thing he did went unnoticed, and it won't go unrewarded, okay? And I know that's not exactly an orthodox thing to say. What am I supposed to say? That he's burning in hell right now and that he always will be? Even that would be sloppy theology, because death and hell are thrown into the lake of fire in Revelation. So when people say hell is eternal, I'm going, excuse me, death and hell are thrown into the lake of fire and burned up, is the way Gary Amirault puts it. And I love that. He said, the death of death is life. So the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death, 1 Corinthians 15. So I think we really do need to smarten up, and I certainly can say I'm not going back to the doctrine of eternal conscious torment, also known as hell, and I invite you to join me in just eschewing it and casting it off and leaving it behind just like a snake sheds its skin. In Yahshua's name, amen.